So Alexa Bliss can now evolve into the Fiend. I don't know. We're going to get into it and talk all about what happened on Monday Night Raw last night. So stay tuned. This is your Raw review. What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are talking about Monday Night Raw. Very, very poor in a lot of segments, and you guys don't hear me say that often. I'm not one to be a downer on Raw, even though sometimes it is a ball ache to watch. But today's, or should I say last night's show, just wasn't very good in a lot of places. We're going to get into it in just a second, so stay tuned. And if you didn't know, right here at WrestleManiac UK, I just talk about everything that is WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you get all the notifications every time I drop a new video. And if you're watching, make sure you also hit the like button because it does loads for the channel and I thoroughly appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into the review. And the show started with Randy Orton. He was in like a backstage area in a ring, wearing a mask, looking like a luchador. He looked like one of the Randy Orton was wearing. And obviously it was to protect his face. Obviously he's had the burn scars. You know, he said he had first-degree burns. You see this segment here? This was a hot pile of garbage. I'm sorry. It was just too much and it just went on and on and on. This was not the way you start a show and get people, you know, excited for the night ahead. He didn't threaten to do anything during the night or anything. He just went on and on and on. He didn't blame Alexa Bliss for this. He blamed the Fiend. He went on to say that, you know, he's still going to win the Royal Rumble, which is kind of contrary to a lot of reports we've been seeing that he won't even be in the Royal Rumble because he'll be having this match with the Fiend. Obviously, we still have next Monday. Next Monday is the go-home show, the Raw go-home show anyway, to the Royal Rumble. So we'll see what develops there with him and the Fiend. I've been saying for the past couple of weeks that Randy Orton should enter the Royal Rumble and the Fiend should pop out from somewhere during the Royal Rumble, pull him out of the Royal Rumble, either, you know, over the top rope or whatever, pull him through the ring. And yeah, that should be how they kind of reignite their feud, in my opinion. But this segment, it was too long. It was too much. It was not what you want to start a show at all. Like, I can't go any deeper on just how poor I felt this was. But anyway, moving on, we get into the first match of the night: Charlotte Flair versus Peyton Royce. This was a pretty decent match. I felt like this is the Peyton Royce that they thought they were going to get when they separated the Iconics. That they thought, okay, Peyton Royce is the superior in-ring talent, so let's go and push her some more. I think she really put on a good display. She was given more time than she's ever been given in a solo capacity. And obviously she's up against Charlotte Flair in the middle of the ring, which only, you know, helps to rise your stock and stuff like that. As what has been happening in the last couple of weeks, this match was interrupted not only by Ric Flair coming down to the ring, but not Charlotte Flair, Lacey Evans, who is a I don't know, girlfriend, groupie of Ric Flair right now. She was wearing what seemed to be one of Ric Flair's robes as well. So obviously this kind of really rubbed Charlotte up the wrong way as well. She didn't get distracted. She didn't lose off the back of a distraction or anything like that. But yeah, what was weird, after they came out, they went straight to a commercial break and then Ric Flair and Lacey Evans were gone. They weren't even ringside or anything like that. They were just gone. So, yeah, there wasn't a lot of continuity there. Anafi in the chat, big up my bro Anafi. You guys make sure you're following Rest Things. Yeah, a lot of mixed reviews for Raw. I mean, I'm going to say poor reviews personally. But yeah, this show was a bit meh. But yeah, we'll continue with this match. And like I said, Peyton Royce tried to kind of capitalize off of the distraction. Didn't really work out for her. At the end of the day, she got put in a figure eight, which she tapped out to furiously. After the bell had went, Charlotte Flair maintained her hold of the figure eight, really kind of showing her frustration there of what's going on with her dad and Lacey Evans. And I think afterwards she cut a promo saying that, you know, that her dad is the dirtiest player in the game and she's never had to kind of stoop to that level, but maybe she might have to start reassessing things, possibly to deal with Lacey Evans. So yeah, maybe, I don't know. Well, I think in the grand scheme of things, Charlotte and Asuka are holding the women's tag team championships hostage right now. They need to either get it off them, start organizing, you know, the WrestleMania program for the Raw Women's Championship. Who's going to be doing what? I think we might see some insight into that later on in this show. But yeah, this was in terms of a match, it was pretty decent. Good showing by Charlotte Flair. Good showing by Peyton Royce, who needs the opportunities right now. Next up on the show, we had Xavier Woods versus Mace. Obviously, Xavier Woods took on T-Bar from Retribution last week. Didn't win. He's in the ring this time round with Mace. It was kind of cool to see Mustafa Ali. There was a promo I think he cut online or something that they put into the show, where basically he was saying that, you know, Kofi Kingston's at home with a broken jaw. You know, where last time I got injured, you stepped into my place, Kofi. You know, and went on to become WWE champion. So basically showing the parallels there, and that Mustafa Ali can basically do the same this year round. Just let Mustafa Ali do what he wants with Retribution. I'm sure they'll be over if he did, you know. He's brilliant. His promos are brilliant. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's Raw creative holding him back in that aspect. Mace versus Xavier Woods started with Xavier Woods giving Mustafa Ali one hot punch before the bell even went. This was a typical kind of, you know, big guy versus a smaller guy match. They put Mace over, you know, as this kind of terror within Retribution. And Xavier Woods was getting stuff in before, you know, the usual Retribution surround the ring and panic the opposition, which is what happened. There was a finisher by Mace applied to Xavier Woods, but it was kind of sloppily done. Thank God, like nobody was hurt in it. And Mace got the pin over Xavier Woods. So again, Retribution continue to pick up wins, meaningless wins, I would say, but wins nonetheless. I mean, at this point, he's faced Mace and T-Bar. Who's next week? Is it going to be Slapjack or is it going to be Mustafa Ali himself? Because I don't really understand why, you know, what the parallel here is, apart from the Kofi Mustafa one. With Xavier Woods, I'm not too sure. But yeah, Mace gets a win over Xavier Woods. Next up, we had a segment of Alexa Bliss inviting Asuka to her playground. I'm not really sure what the point of this was, apart from Alexa Bliss stating that she is now going to be entering the Women's Royal Rumble. Asuka told her, you know, good luck with that. Asuka actually came into the playground and went to sit on the swing next to Alexa Bliss. And Alexa Bliss said, no, that's not your seat. Get up, blah, blah, blah. So obviously she's still kind of selling that, you know, the Fiend is with her. The Fiend is present. Asuka was kind of spooked out, but, you know, she kind of came to her regular self. And where Alexa Bliss was showing times when she was scared and stuff, Asuka was trying to show compassion, trying to show that, I think at one point she said, the Fiend is still here with you. And Alexa Bliss boned out. She was like, don't say his name, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, we knew that on the night we were going to get a match between these two later on. But obviously Alexa Bliss was kind of selling the fact she's going to be in the Royal Rumble. Obviously, if she wins the Royal Rumble, she will go on to face Asuka at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. So, yeah, that I think was the main point of this. Alexa carried it. It was a pretty good segment. But yeah, I guess the main point is that she's going to be in the Royal Rumble and she's still selling that the Fiend is with her. Next up on the show, we had Shayna Baszler versus Mandy Rose. I feel like these guys have just been wrestling like every week. It's just a combination of Shayna Baszler and Mandy Rose, Shayna Baszler or Dana Brooke. It's like for the past 3 or 4 weeks, this has been the match. And it looks like we're kind of trying to build Shayna back to where she needs to be. She took a lot of pinfall losses to this team, to Asuka and Charlotte. So it looks like Shayna's been kind of picking up momentum. She injured Mandy Rose's arm pretty early on, and despite Mandy Rose's kind of best efforts to get back into the match, Shayna applied that Kirifuda clutch, which kind of brings everything to a stop. And yeah, Mandy Rose tapped out. On the outside of the ring, we had Nia Jax was on commentary, come down to the ring to kind of, I say, support Shayna. They started bickering after the match. Dana Brooke took to the apron, drop kicked Nia Jax into Shayna Baszler, and Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke got away. So yeah, I mean, I can't even tell you the direction of where we're going right now with this. Shayna Baszler did make a comment backstage saying that it would be a good time to kind of go after the tag team champions, Charlotte and Asuka. So maybe we see that next week. Maybe that's a match that's going to be booked for Royal Rumble, even though, well, I don't know. Shayna Baszler said she's in the Royal Rumble. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Anafi every blessed week, bro. It's true. Like, this is what I'm saying. It feels like these lot wrestle every week. Like, Shayna needs another solo run. 100%, man. 100%. They should definitely just, keep the wins rolling, despite it being against, similar opposition. Keep the wins rolling in. I don't think Asuka's going into WrestleMania as the Raw Women's Champion. I do think it's going to be Charlotte. And if it ain't Charlotte, maybe Shayna. But I don't think it's going to be Asuka, to be honest. She has no, she has no momentum or anything like that, in my opinion. So it's a complete shame. It is a complete shame, but yeah, what can you do? Right, we had a really good match coming up between AJ Styles and Ricochet. Before we get there, guys, please make sure if you're watching, you smash that like button. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, please smash the like button. It does loads for the channel, and I thoroughly appreciate it each and every time. So one more time, if you haven't already, smash that like button. Next up, I believe a Royal Rumble opportunity was on the line here. AJ Styles, the gatekeeper of the Royal Rumble, it seems. Everyone has to beat AJ Styles to kind of win their way into the Royal Rumble. And Ricochet was up next. I think last week we had Drew Gulak. Ricochet was this week. Again, it's really inconsistent with who needs to win their way into the Royal Rumble and who can just declare themselves for the Royal Rumble. Like, later on in the night, we had Jeff Hardy just declare himself into the Royal Rumble. Over the weekend, I think we had The Miz. He just declared himself into the Royal Rumble. Yet, Drew Gulak has to fight a match to get in. Ricochet has to fight a match to get in. You see what I mean? It's just a bit inconsistent. Maybe they need to organize it in a way where, I don't know, if you've been a champion in the last year or something, you can automatically be in the Royal Rumble. And everyone else has to kind of, qualify. I don't know how they can do it best, or everyone can just declare themselves, or no one can declare themselves, but they need to organize it, because it seems like it's a bit of favoritism, or it just doesn't really add up, in my opinion. You see what I mean? So yeah, that's that anyway. But anyway, we had a fantastic match. AJ Styles versus Ricochet. Anyone that gets in the ring with AJ Styles is gonna get, a 3-star match or 4-star match minimum. We know Ricochet is a brilliant competitor anyway, but it just makes you look at, man, what are they doing with Ricochet? Like, this guy can go, and AJ Styles was selling for him like crazy in the opening segments of the match. It was really good to see Ricochet be offensive, be aggressive, kind of be going at his competitor. Obviously, AJ Styles is phenomenal, as the name implies. And we saw him kind of build his way back into this match. We saw AJ Styles go for a phenomenal forearm, which Ricochet turned into a recoil and got a near fall. The finish for this match was spectacular. Never seen anything like this before. AJ Styles had Ricochet in what was like a suplex position, bounced Ricochet off the ropes, releasing him. Ricochet's part to, you know, give credit to for this as well. Ricochet bounced off the ropes into the air. AJ Styles caught him into a Styles clash, applied the Styles clash, and pinned him. Guys, I'm probably not doing this justice. I gasped when I saw this because this was brilliant. You need to go and see this. Search it on YouTube or something if you haven't seen this. Threw him onto the ropes in a suplex position. Ricochet bounced off the ropes and straight into a Styles clash. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles gets the win. Fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic finish. The one match you should definitely go and seek out on Raw this week if you're not going to watch the entire thing, which I will never blame you for. But yeah, definitely go and see that match. But yeah, you know, Anafi, bring back the qualifiers. Yeah, man. Like, there has to be some type of order to how, you know, people are getting to the Royal Rumble. I know it's just one of those things that maybe we're you know, as fans, we're thinking too much about. But if you're putting emphasis on it, make it make sense. You see what I mean? Just make it make sense. I can't remember who had to qualify from the women's division like 2 weeks ago. And then literally in the segment afterwards, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke just walked out and said, I'm in the Royal Rumble. Like, you know, it has to add up. It has to add up. But yeah, Ricochet and AJ Styles giving us the best segment, the best match on the night. And from there, we walk into the worst segment I may have seen in my life. Like, one of the worst. It's definitely up there. The Miz and John Morrison were hosting the Dirt Sheet. They had promised Goldberg was going to be on the show, which I was half looking forward to because I thought Drew McIntyre is at home at the moment. Obviously, get well soon, Drew, and all of that. But we thought we still need to build towards this Royal Rumble match. Get Goldberg on the Dirt Sheet. He can try and do some of the mileage getting towards the Royal Rumble match. They introduced Goldberg coming out, but no, guys, it's not Goldberg. It's Gilbert. And you know what? I half didn't mind seeing Gilbert back. I don't know how many of you know, but I think he had it was either a stroke or a heart attack around October, November times last year, 2020. So it was actually good to see him fit, healthy, strong enough to kind of come back, be on TV. Not that he's a mainstay on WWE anyway, but just to be back, you know what I mean? Just to be fit and healthy. It was good to see. However, obviously, this did nothing to build towards the Royal Rumble match, WWE match itself, between Drew McIntyre and Goldberg. And just as you Goldberg, sorry, just as you thought it was going to get any worse, they brought out a makeshift make-do Drew McIntyre, some overweight guy where his kilt was slipping down his backside. You can see his ass crack, and his wig fell off multiple times within the segment. This was utter complete trash. Honestly, this was such a bad segment. So bad. And it went on and on and on. It was so poor. They cut to the gist of it, thank God, where The Miz basically declared that Goldberg or Drew McIntyre isn't leaving the Royal Rumble with the WWE Championship. Obviously, The Miz has the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's implying he's going to cash in, and he's next, is what he said. Right. So The Miz basically declared himself for this WWE Championship match of where he's going to cash in. I can't help but think now maybe he joins this match, like he did the TLC match between AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre. He joins this match. Goldberg pins him and becomes WWE champion. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. It's not what I want to see per se. I don't want to see Miz join this match. I don't want to see Goldberg become champion, but this is an out so that Goldberg doesn't have to pin Drew McIntyre. Let me know what you think. Sad times. But yeah, this segment was appalling. Absolutely appalling. WWE, please do not waste my time with anything like this ever again. We went on to something that was a bit more interesting though. Lucha House Party and Riddle versus Hurt Business. Hurt Business still imploding. What is going on with the Hurt Business? What is going on. Like, it's just crazy. I just seen a Nafi. This is looking messy or sounding messy. I guess that's in regards to the WWE Championship picture. Yeah, it 100% is. 100% is. But yeah, back to the Hurt Business. I don't know what's going on here with Cedric Alexander. This chip on his shoulder he has is very interesting to watch. For some, it may have come at the demise of this match. The funny thing about this was that Lindsay Dorado was just getting beaten for ages in this match, while the Hurt Business were trying to figure out their issues. You know, pushing and shoving each other, hard tagging each other, and all of that kind of stuff. Lashley losing his rag, thinking, you know, get yourself together, you two. MVP on the outside losing his rag as well. It was incredible to see that the fact that Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, they just can't get along, and for what reason? Like, we still don't even know. Very fun and kind of interesting to see, but I think we need to maybe have a segment next week, maybe after the Rumble, where it's actually addressed what the problem is here, and that can kind of progress the story, because this has been happening for a while now. Today was the worst, or last night was the worst it's happened, but we need to kind of progress this feud, this internal feud, by some words, I think. But this was a pretty decent match. Matt Riddle got a hot tag, and he was pretty good when he came in. But you know, eventually Bobby Lashley just wanted to kind of cut the crap that was going on. Grand Metalik came into the ring, and Bobby Lashley tagged himself in, went on a rampage, spear to Grand Metalik, put him in the Hurt Lock, and you know, I haven't seen anyone get out of one of these right now. So Bobby Lashley got the win for the Hurt Business here. They all somehow posed together after the match, you know. But yeah, like I said, it probably needs to be addressed as to what's going on internally between these guys. Moving on, we had a match between Jackson Ryker and Jeff Hardy. Another match which we have seen, you know, in the last week or so. Jeff Hardy and Elias had a Symphony of Destruction match some months ago, and they said this was the end of their feud. Again, last week, they said that Jeff Hardy wants to finish his feud with Elias against Jackson Ryker, and he faced Elias last week. And then commentary said before this match began that Jeff Hardy, as well as declaring himself for the Royal Rumble, Jeff Hardy wants to reignite his feud with Elias. Come on, guys. Like, no one's interested in this, you know, and you guys aren't even equaling what you said last week. Like, the story is forever changing, you know, and not in a good way. Anyway, we had Jackson Ryker in this match with Jeff Hardy. You know, apart from these wild views that Jackson Ryker came up with, said what he believes in, I wouldn't mind seeing a kind of monster push for Jackson Ryker as a monster heel, because he looks the part. I'm not too sure on his in-ring ability. I'll reserve my judgment on that for now, but yeah, he looks good, apart from, you know, his views are not aligning with mine and a lot of others. In the end, we had Elias push Jeff Hardy off the top rope, who was ringside. He pushed Jeff Hardy off the top rope, which obviously caused a disqualification. Now, before this match, Elias and Jackson Ryker had a bit of a going back and forward, like, don't get involved. Do you mean I should get involved, or shouldn't I get involved? Again, just cut the crap. Like, no one's interested. This isn't funny. This isn't entertainment. You know, Elias basically disqualified got Jackson Ryker disqualified because he thought that Jackson Ryker meant get involved with the match. Like, I've already spoken about this match for too long. Let's just not go on about it any longer. Let's move on to our main event. Asuka versus Alexa Bliss. Now, a lot of moving parts in this match. Alexa Bliss comes down to the ring as her regular, newfound, playful Alexa Bliss, right? She's smiling while she's taking moves from Asuka, and, you know, everything seems a bit hunky-dory and that. Until Alexa kind of goes to stand in the middle of the ring, the lights start breaking down as if the Fiend is coming, blah, blah, blah. But it's like with a purple haze, so it's not quite the Fiend. This is like Alexa's Lady Fiend persona, if you want to call it. lights come back on now from the all black state, all back on with the purple light, and Alexa Bliss has kind of transformed. She's no longer wearing a pink shirt. She's wearing a black shirt with black lipstick. She's done her hair a bit differently. Is this Alexa Bliss as the Fiend? She is now a more possessed, darker character where she no-sold everything. Punches, forearms, kicks from Asuka. Alexa Bliss was unmoved, completely unmoved. Asuka, this was the most regular she's ever seemed as well. Really selling the fact she was kind of scared, intimidated of this Alexa Bliss character that stood before her. We saw for long periods Alexa Bliss doing a lot of the Bray Wyatt Fiend mannerisms, you know, the bending back in the corner of the turnbuckle. She tried to apply a mandible claw at one point, was unsuccessful, and eventually, eventually she applied a Sister Abigail kind of move, and that got the win for her. 1, 2, 3, and then Alexa Bliss pinned Asuka. At the end of the match, she kind of transformed back to her regular self, her regular state. And that was it. That was it. We had the let me in kind of sound, Alexa Bliss mouthing that in the background. Alexa Bliss pins the Raw Women's Champion. A lot of people now think, you know, Alexa Bliss has shot to the bookies' favorite to win the Royal Rumble following that. You guys let me know what you think down below in the comments. Is Alexa Bliss now the favorite to win the Royal Rumble and possibly go on to WrestleMania to face Asuka or someone else, whoever may be the Raw Women's Champion by April? But yeah, Alexa Bliss kind of showing this different character now. For me, she's going to do a whole Lady Fiend thing. I've been saying that she needs to do it since she kind of became part of this thing with the Fiend, but she needs a mask. She needs the physical change as well, different attire. It's not enough just to give her black lipstick. It's not enough. She needs a mask as well. She needs that whole change, you know. But she's, I mean, we've been saying it as well. She's been doing a lot of really, really good work. And I'm very happy. Anafi in the comments, thank you for reminding me. He said, what about Randy? Exactly. What about Randy? Nothing. There was nothing from Randy Orton in this ending segment. I don't know if you missed the beginning, bro, but he was in the opening segment where he was obviously wearing a mask with the burns on his face, or the makeup on his face from the burns. But there was nothing from him kind of going after Alexa Bliss. You know, Alexa Bliss was in the middle of the ring. He was clearly in the arena as well from earlier on in the night. I don't know. There's no continuity with a lot of these stories. Randy Orton said he's not blaming Alexa Bliss for the burn. He's blaming the Fiend, but Alexa Bliss done it. But yeah, for me to be completely sold on this Alexa Bliss Lady Fiend character, I think she needs a mask. She needs a change of attire. But yeah, that was Raw. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments of Raw. If you watched it, what you think as well for Royal Rumble odds in terms of Alexa Bliss. Does she kind of shoot up the rankings for you with all of this? I'm not too sure about myself, but yeah, we shall see. We got one more week till the Royal Rumble, people. We are actually gonna have a prediction show with wrestlings in about a week or 2 weeks time, so look out for that. Remember to hit the like button. We thoroughly appreciate it right here at WrestleManiac UK. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.